What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Secret Restaurant Podcast. I will be your host for this journey through space and time. My name is Nate Hoyle. So I stumbled upon a picture of myself recently from back when I was in high school. And, my question, because, people always say the grass is always greener, right? Well, I was looking at a picture from back then. It was like on a driveway with the grass around it. And I was looking at it and I was like, the grass actually looks greener. Like literally. And so my question is, back then, 15 years ago, was the grass literally greener back then? I think maybe it might have been, because judging from that picture, I've never seen grass so green. Over the years, the grass has gotten significantly less green over time. And people attribute it to, pollution of the soil. They attribute it to, just overall the floating cloud of gloom. That was my dog. Okay, buddy. Spin move. The cloud of gloom, which has seeped into all the grass, making it less green now than it was back then. And my question is to all of the people listening, how do we get to that greener grass? How do we come together and join hands and move forward, fixing this problem? Speaking of nostalgia, though, I have been doing a little project, not a project, but a consumption exercise. I've been listening to some old cassette tapes because I got a fair share of them. So I've just been going through them. You know what's interesting? I'm about to be sincere for a second. I feel like the cool thing about listening to tapes or actually still going back and doing physical media, whether it be vinyl, I guess CDs now too, is I feel like a lot of these albums, I never would have listened to them the whole way through. But I am now, and I'm consuming them in the way that they were first intended. What I like about tapes is you put them in, you press play, and they start wherever they want, really. They start wherever they were left before, unless you rewind them. So that's kind of it takes fucking forever to rewind tapes, too. Maybe my thing is just slow. I don't have time to be sitting there like... Yeah, tapes are cool, but I will say they are the most fragile of all music media, because they just get completely worn or break too. I had a bunch that I was really excited to have, and then they broke. I had Offspring Smash. That one snapped and you can't play it anymore. Another one was Soundgarden, Bad Moto Finger. Both of them broke, like the wheel of tape broke, so you can't play it anymore. And I think I found them both at like Goodwill years ago. That's fine. All these tapes, some of them still have the price tags on them. They're like $1. Now you go on eBay, they're going for like $30, which is probably not worth it because, like I said, tapes. I feel like the actual lifespan of a cassette tape is probably already gone. Like all the tapes from back then are no longer high quality. Speaking of high quality, though, this collection is weird that I have because, well, I feel like I could say this because I'm the one who got ripped off. But I ordered some tapes years ago, and between you and me, they arrived, and a lot of them are bootlegs. It's like the real case with the cover, but then the tape itself is one of those blank ones with like the album recorded onto it. But I do still listen to those ones because why not? And they sound like tapes. And if I'm listening to tapes, I like to have a wide range of things to choose from. I wanted to talk about some of them, but I feel like I could divide them very easily. Aside from the 3 random movie soundtracks I have, I could probably just divide them into my metal stuff and then my rock section, rock/blues or jam band or whatever. And the metal stuff, you don't probably need to hear about it today. I got some good ones though. A lot of thrash metal, death metal, some random power metal shit that I wouldn't really listen to unless I had it on cassette. I.e. Saxon. Oh, one band that I listened to over the week that I actually never listened to, and now I really like them. They're kind of like, they sound like Iron Maiden, but they're called Running Wild. And they're sort of like power metal, marching, epic, dueling guitars with like the really high vocals. But I like their sound, I like their songwriting. A lot of that stuff you hear one band, you kind of understand them all, but it's fun to have on just like, because I'm usually like writing when I listen to them. I'm not just like sitting there with my hearing ear up to the speaker. One of them I spun that I was really liking, I think it used to be my dad's actually, because some of these are, I don't really know where the collections are divided. But it's like Buddy Guy. Damn right I've got the blues. That one was pretty sweet. I didn't really ever listen to him before. I need to get into more blues music. The only ones, I mean, besides like influence, like blues being influenced to later music, obviously, because like the guitar style pretty much moved on to any music ever, especially with solos or with technique. But like as far as going back to the classic blues albums and artists, the only ones I used to have a Howlin' Wolf album on vinyl that I sold, I think, but other than that, I don't really know a lot of the giants, the guitar giants. And obviously, when you go way back, the recording isn't that good. But once you get to stuff, this Buddy Guy one was pretty fun, and I like the lyrics. I've been trying to get into the whole, like, writing about your feelings without being sarcastic. That's a goal. I mean, I think I've been successful in the past, but there's always, like, whenever I try and write about feelings or write about any emotion other than, like, sarcasm, I always have to undercut it with insincerity, and that's because I'm a millennial. That's how millennials are. We're sarcastic and also depressed. And nostalgic. Are all generations nostalgic? Maybe not. I think millennials are nostalgic, though. Especially because we put so much importance on the art that we love, and now the art is old and other people don't care about it. And we're like, how could this be? But let's talk about some albums that aren't metal that I wouldn't probably normally listen to. I got a stack of 3 right here, and the first one actually I've always been, I like this one, John Cougar Mellencamp's Scarecrow. I always kind of liked this album because of the angst in it. It's like a 1985, like kind of studio rock. I always thought he was comparable to Bruce Springsteen, but I think Bruce Springsteen has angst, but I don't know if it really comes through in the sounds of like the guitars and like the I don't know. I feel like John Cougar Mellencamp, especially this Scarecrow album, is a lot moodier. Like it's a lot more like kind of edgy. But maybe people would tell me I'm dead wrong about that. But I got that one, I think, at Goodwill too, and I listened to it. And then I got 2 more, and I listened to them all kind of in a row, and I'm like, these are all like kind of similar. Let's look at the years. Okay, so I got Lou Reed, Mistrial, which Lou Reed is a person I'm familiar enough about. I know I could probably do an impression of him, but I'm not going to. But as far as his deep cuts or his full albums, it's pretty much something that I haven't really explored that much. So this one is called Mistrial. Can't remember if I said that. But this one was recorded in 1986. And then finally, this was a random find that I recognized the name but didn't know them. And then I think this is the first time I actually spun it. Also 1985, the Del Fuegos. The album is called Boston, Massachusetts, I think. But anyway, I listened to them all 3 in a row, and I'm like, damn, these could all just be on the same radio station at the same time in a kind of time machine back to 1986. The year was 1986, and I was not born yet. And both of my parents were seniors in high school, and they did not know each other. And they both probably were not listening to these albums either. If I had listened to these albums when I was in high school, I probably would have been like, where is the distortion? You start with an acoustic, slow building, 30-second bridge or ballad-esque. But not for too long because you'll lose your fans. And then you go right into the blistering dual guitar, open E, just thrash, speed, anger. If there's not a key change in your guitar solo, where you have a key change mid-solo and then you do like the... I really thought I would have more to say about those. But it's funny having them on cassettes. Was cassettes the main form of listening to music in the 80s? Cassettes and vinyl, but I feel like it was more leaning towards cassettes, maybe. Guess what? It's a couple of days later. I didn't want to lie to you. I had to pause for a whole couple of days and sit in silence and think about what I've said, and think about what I've done, and think about why I deserve what I deserve. Anyway, a few things I wanted to talk about aside from all that. Cassettes are put away, stereo is put away, and that part of my life is completely over now. So let's move on. Spent like 3 hours today getting the book Last Holiday, Collected Poems by yours truly, collected from 2023 to 2026. I've been spending some time getting the formatting ready to roll. This is the first time that I have actually formatted the book outside of the Amazon direct printing process. I didn't realize that you could actually have the book as like a file and then you put it into Amazon and then they'll print what you already formatted. What I always had before was that I would use the special app that is directly connected to like Kindle and Amazon. I would use that. So I think I'm probably going to reformat my other two next because it wasn't horrible, but I wanted to have some control over the font, and I think it would just look better if it wasn't just the generic basic Kindle font, which is what my two books are now. It's always like I put off doing these book formatting things or I like the writing part. I don't really like the rereading and editing part. Like for me, writing the first draft is usually like tied for the most exciting, as like when you're finally putting everything into the computer and formatting it. It's actually turning into like it looks like a real book. Like the writing and the first steps of putting the things together are the most exciting. And then there's kind of like a lull and like a, almost not a dread, but it's like I resist it because it's not as fun of like proofreading or like going through things because you have to reread things so much, which is probably why I have been neglecting my prose and my fiction, because that actually you have to sit down for like an hour and read stuff as opposed to just reading one page at a time really quickly. Did get my new glasses, and my eyes are still getting used to them because I haven't been wearing them enough. I'm going to just use them reading because I feel like they kind of strain my eyes if I'm using them out in public or when I'm walking around. I think they're more for like focusing on one thing at a time, computers or whatnot, books. And therefore I have been kind of not getting my eyes used to them as much as I should. I should be wearing them a few hours a day, but I'll just put them on for a little bit. See what happens. See how things change. See if I get rich yet from my clear vision, from my clear focus, and my no longer limited capabilities of sight. You know, it's crazy because, so like I said, I've been doing a lot of writing, mostly just because I've been having some free evenings and I was doing the cassette thing. So I would just listen to a bunch of them while writing poetry and some new fiction that I've been working on. But like I said, fiction apparently for me takes like years to finish one story, but we shall see. But anyway, additionally, I was having some sports on in the background just because, you know, ADHD or whatever. But one day, because I've been watching a lot of basketball, watched some Timberwolves, Bulls, whatever else was on, Lakers. But one night I was like, you know what? This would be a good night to just put hockey on because I'm not really watching it. And then I literally go on TV, look through all the channels, look on a few of the streaming places, and there wasn't one single hockey game on. I don't know if it's because of geographically people aren't really watching it as much here, or I don't have the right services. I don't pay for the Chicago Sports Network for the Blackhawks. Yeah, there was literally no hockey on. And then the next day I found one and there was like 10 seconds left in the game and then it was over. So I don't know what that's about. But it got me thinking about a new series I'm working on where hockey is no longer a sport. People lose interest in it. Or perhaps it gets banned entirely. No more hockey. And the star athlete has to go into seclusion, far north, where it is always cold. The worst part about it all was that all those years of breaking records and being on magazine covers and being the star of a sport that people slowly quit caring about is that he never got that championship trophy. And it haunts him. He sits in seclusion. He can't even look at a hockey stick. And when it's ice out, he just wallows, hoping that he might slip and fall and never be able to get up again. His life is a disaster. But soon, a cold front sweeps the entire world, frost covering the surface of the earth. Seas freeze over, and there is nothing but ice and cold. And that's when the world needs a hero the most. Still working on that one, so I don't know what happens. I mean, why would they need a hero is the real question. If it just... what could he possibly do to make things better for everyone? Teach the world to skate again? Sure. That's all I have for today. As far as I know, unless I forgot something, I need to start writing things down. So that I can look at them and be like, why the hell did I want to talk about that? What could possibly be interesting about any of that? I don't know. All right. I'll talk to you guys later, I guess. And you guess, and we guess together. All right, goodbye.